Hello there, welcome to Rosy ASMR. Thank you for joining me. So, today we're doing a bit of already making mistakes, beginner's tutorial in programming or coding. So if you see, I'm using 2 lines there, and then I'm writing. This is just making a comment, so it's not actual code. Well, obviously I'm just typing out, because this whole video is about typing sounds, so as I go along I'll be also typing comments, so I'll give a bit of explanation, things like that. Yeah, so it is very much just for ASMR purposes. It's for the typing sounds, and yeah, so it's basically just gonna be doing that for your enjoyment, if you like typing, but you know, if you actually learn something, that's cool too. So we are using Visual Studio. That is what this I don't know, infrastructure is called. So it's the software that we're using in order to write our code. I don't actually know the right terminology for that, but anyway. Okay, so we're using Visual Studio, that's our software, and we're using it to program in C#. It is a language. So I know a couple other languages, but I think C# is pretty straightforward, and it is, I think it's the easiest to learn, because the syntax is not too complex. So what the syntax is basically like the grammar, the vocabulary of the programming language, if I can put it in like general sense. So each programming language will have pretty much like the same concepts, but will have like slightly different wording, different syntax. So yeah, this is going to be pretty funny to see how well I can multitask with like talking to you and typing. So we'll see how it goes. So let's just get started, okay? Like I said, it's just very much beginners. Like if you're actually trying to learn how to code, this probably isn't the best place to do it. But if you learn something, it's cool. Okay, so the first thing we're starting with is console.writeline. I should explain first before. Okay, let me just explain that I have created this program already, and it is a console application. So it does not have a user interface that has been designed, or you know, like all the pretty buttons and all of that. So the user interface is just a command line, and so it's basically just a pop-up. Well, you'll see when we run stuff. It's just a pop-up black screen that will like type out lines of code or whatever you wanted to type out for you. So that's what we're working with. It's like the basics. Yeah, so that's what we do. Anyway, so we've got console.writeline, and I'm gonna try and like avoid using shortcuts, so I'm actually typing everything out, because the typing sounds are the most important. So usually the first thing that you sort of learn is hello world. So it's basically just the first time you're using your I'm so tempted to use shortcuts. I must remember not to. So it's the first time you're actually interacting with your command line that you're actually seeing something happen that you have coded. So I remember the first time I did that. It was just like insanely fun. Anyway, I just couldn't believe I had written something that then came and displayed to me later. Anyway, so let me show you. So it's building the project, and there you can see this is your command line, and it has sent that little message to you. So I put read line here as well. So write line was in order to write to the command line, the console window, and then read line was basically just something in C# that you have to do in order for it to stay there, because otherwise it will immediately like close the window as soon as it's opened, and read line just like makes it wait there. Anyway, so that's basically that. So let's think, what shall we go through first? Can't remember what I wanted to do. Okay, I'm gonna do data types. That's always a good place to start. So you've got various data types. So for each type of information that you want to store, you'll have like a different data type to store it. So it's basically like a little container where you're putting in information. So the first one is int, and int is generally a number, or it would be a whole number. Let's rather type that, a whole number. So here I'm specifying that it is the data type int. I am giving it a name. This is what my container is called, whole number. And I am saying equals, so I'm saying what goes in that container is whole number. I mean, the container is called whole number, and what I'm putting into whole number is the number 5. Okay, so I'm just trying to explain it as basically as I can. I don't know, actual teachers might get annoyed with the terminology I'm using, but I'm just trying to explain it as basically as I can. So that is an int. It is a whole number basically. When you want to store a whole number, you use an int. When you want to store something with a decimal, you are going to use a double. So a double can store something with a decimal, so 7.5. It can also just store 7, so it's more versatile than the int, but it allows for 7.5, whereas an int, if you tried to do 5.5, that then would cause an error. You can see the little red squiggly. That means it does not like it, so we have to leave it just as 5. And if you ever try and make a double into an int, it will just chop it off so that it removes all the decimals. There are also like other things like the size of the numbers that each data type can take. Like an int can only take a certain number, and then a double can take more. I don't know how much exactly, but yeah. So a char is basically just one character. So it is a single character, it cannot be more than one character. And you always have to put it in single quotes like that. So you can just put one letter there. You can put a number, but then we'll view it as a character, not a number. But yeah, so with instant doubles, you have your numbers just as is. With a char, you have to put the single quotes around it. And then we have a string. So a string is basically a word or a phrase. So it can be a whole sentence. So it can be as simple as Rose, or it can be a whole sentence. Like that. Yeah, so it's pretty versatile. And that is a string. And then we've got a bool. A bool is basically like a binary data type, and it can basically just take true or false. So you can say it is equal to true, or you can say it is equal to false. So it's basically when you're checking like a condition, something like that, it will be true or false, and yeah. we'll get into other things like if statements a little bit later, and then that will help with this, explaining how that works. It's basically just true or false. Okay. So now we've got some data types. I'm going to go back to writing to the console window. So you can communicate with your user, as I've already shown you, but you can also get information back from your user. So for instance, now we know that we can use a string data type in order to get information back from the user. So here we're going to use console.readline again, and this basically just means that we post a question in our console window, and then the next line the user has the option to type something in there, and whatever they type in that line gets put into this container that we have called name. So once we have that name from the user, we can then use it again. We can say hello, and we're gonna add our string name there to this string, because this is also a string. Oh, I don't know if I specified, the strings always have the double quotes. So the chars have the single quotes and strings have double quotes, at least in C#. Different languages are different. So here we have a string and we want to add to that string, so this is this plus sign helps us concatenate the strings. It's a fancy way of saying combining them. So hello, and we want to add whatever name we get back, whatever's in our container, we want to write that back to the console window. I hope this is making sense. Maybe I should put in some comments. So we're writing to the console window, and then we're getting back info from the console window or from the user, and putting it in the name container, and then we're using okay, so let's see how that works. So you're running our project again. So here we had our original message, hello SMR viewers, what is your name? My name is Rose, so I'm going to put in Rose, and there you can see the message coming back, hello Rose. So it took that name that I gave it and it put it in that container, and then it used what was in that container to write it back to me, which is quite handy. So now you can see that all of that works. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is show you how you can do fun things with it. So you can ask for other information, like give me a number. So we're going to get a container for the number that the user is going to give us, and we'll make it an int, which, if you can remember, is a whole number. Okay, so we're wanting a whole number back from the user. Okay, so I'm going to write it how I did it before, but you're going to see there's going to be an error. Okay, so here we've got the red squiggly line, and why that is because this read line is giving us back a string, so whatever the user writes is coming back as a string. So here it was fine because we were putting it in a string container, but here we're wanting to put it in an int container, and it's not happy with that. So we've got to do this little conversion, which is just int.parse. So it's basically converting it from a string into an int, and then we can use it. So we'll ask for, it's so weird, it's so weird not using shortcuts. So we'll ask for another number, and we'll do the same thing here, where, okay, so if, and just another little thing, if I try to make it the same container name, it gives me a little error there because it doesn't want me to use that same one. But it is possible to change the value of that is in your container. So I feel like I'm hopping around too much with my explanations. So we want that to be number 2, but I could have then changed it, said number is equal to 2, and that is fine because here I am defining the data type. So this is when I'm creating the container. Here the container is already created and I'm just changing what's in it. So at any point you can change whatever is in a container, but I'm digressing. I feel like that's why I say you can't really use this for actual learning, I don't think, because I think I mean, I'm just giving you information based on my personal experience, but I don't know the right way to teach programming, so it's probably a bit all over the place. Anyway, so here we've got 2 numbers, okay, and this is what we're getting from the user. So we're going to do like a little mini calculator type thing. So we'll do something, we're creating a data type of int, our container is called sum, and we are then going to add the 2 numbers together. So you can use plus or minus or divide or times. So here I'm using plus because we just want to add them together, but I'll maybe just write it here. So adding, you use that, minus is that, divide is that, and what's multiply we use that. So you can do any of those. Yeah. And so once we've done our sum, we can say the sum is okay, and here we're just displaying what the sum is. So what I just wanna get rid of some of this stuff. Well, I'm used to other languages. I can't remember the shortcut for making this little comment. Okay, I'm just gonna get rid of this other stuff, just commenting it out so that we don't have the same information coming up to us every single time. Okay, give me a number. So we can give a number, give another number, and it adds together for us. A lovely little calculator. So that is something cool that we can do. I really wish I remembered how to comment things out. I used C# mostly in my first and second year of studying. That was what I used the most. But now this last year I've been using Java, so I'm getting used to Java instead of C#. I've used one or two other languages, but yeah, those are the main ones that I know. Okay, what did I want to do next? Let's go through if statements. An if statement is basically a way to check, what am I doing? Check a condition. I'm not very good at the multitasking. Okay, so you can check something. So for instance, you can check, we have some numbers here, the whole number that we made to equal 5. We can say if whole number, and it comes and pops up there for you on the screen. Let me show you there. So if you were using shortcuts, you could just press enter. So if whole number is equal to 5, you then want to do something. That's basically what that statement is saying. So note there, I'm using a double equals, whereas whenever I put something into a container, I used a single equals. And I know if you have any programming background, you're going to be annoyed with me saying putting stuff in a container, because like there's real terminology like declaring and assigning and all of that. I'm just trying to make it as simple as possible for anyone who has no programming background. Okay, so don't come at me. Okay, so now we have this where we are checking, does this equal 5? And if it does equal 5, then we want to do something here. So you can write to the console but I mean you could do anything here, don't have to do something like that, and then you can say else. If it doesn't equal to 5, you want to do something else. So in our case, we'll just say no, it doesn't equal 5. Like that. Perfect. So you can also have something different here. You could say if whole number is greater than 5, or you could say whole number is not equal to 5. So this here basically means not equal. And what else could you do? Less than or equals to. So here was just greater than, but here it's less than or equal to. Yeah, so those are just different options. It's also possible to use your booleans. So here, I said I would explain this a little bit more a bit later. Oh, I'm gonna cough. Let me just move this quickly. Yeah, I'm mostly better. I just have a slight cough after having tonsillitis. So, okay. What was I saying? Okay, so we've got our boolean, and so here it says true or false, and basically when we check something here, it's looking, is it true or false? So we could just put our boolean in just like that, and it will check, is this boolean true or is it false? And we made our binary container hold a true value. See, it's equal to true, so this will be true then. So yeah, okay, so we can then do something based on that. But yeah, I'm not going to do anything because it would just be like console write line or something like that again. Anyway, but that's just another example. Let me just actually comment this out. Okay, so you can check something with an actual condition there, or you can just check an actual boolean. So either is fine. Then the next sort of concept that we would go through is a for loop. Let me first explain it. So a for loop allows you to loop through the same code a specified number of times. So how you set it up is okay, so let me just go through it. So you're setting up your for loop, that's indicating that it's a for loop, and then you are declaring an int data type, and you are calling it I, and you are assigning the value 0 to it. So you're putting 0 in the container called I, and you are saying that you're going to start with I equal to 0, and then you're going to, for each loop, you're going to check, is I less than 9? So sort of like how an if statement checks things, you're doing a little mini if statement in there. You're checking, is I less than 9? If it's less than 9, you're going to do something. So this is just a comment. You're going to do something with that code. Okay. And then once you've done this, you're going to go to this third part here where it's saying I++. Now I++ basically just means Oof. I plus 1. That's basically what it means there. But it's not happy with me saying I because I've got an I here as well. So anyway, but that's all it does. I can just comment that out. So you're saying I is equal to 0. It's less than 9, yes, so I'm going to do something here. Once I've done something, I'm going to go up here and add 1 to it. So I then becomes 1. And then it's going to go here and it's going to check again. Is 1 less than 9? Yes. So it's going to do something. It's going to add another 1. And it will become 2. Is 2 less than 9? Yes. Do something. So you carry on like that until I becomes 9. And then it will say, not happy with that. And it will leave the for loop. So it will carry on the rest of. So code always runs from the top to the bottom, except for like in a for loop where it goes back, but once it leaves the for loop then it can carry on. Yeah, so I can show you how I adds 1 to itself each time. So I just want it to display whatever is in I each time we have the for loop. So let me just I really wish I could comment this stuff out easily. Let me quickly, should be able to find, you know, so annoying. Java shows you how to comment everything out in one. Oh wait, isn't it here somewhere? Okay. I'm a bit rusty with the comment out. What's the shortcut? Control K. Okay. Cool. I was doing Control C, but that's to uncomment something. I was close. Anyway, okay. So we are now going to run this. So here we can see it starts from 0, goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And it doesn't show 9 because it could not be greater than 9. So as soon as it hit 9, it left the for loop. So it went 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then when it became 9, it went here and this condition was false. So it didn't do what it was supposed to do. It didn't do this line. It jumped straight to the end. Yeah. So that is a for loop. That's just a very simple way to sort of show you what you can do with that. It's basically just like when you need to check stuff multiple times. Yeah. Trying to think, maybe we can do a cool example, something a bit more complex. I don't know. Let's check. What should we do? I guess we can check if something's even. If I divided by 2. Wait. No, that doesn't work. I mod 2 equals 0. Okay, so this expression here is mod. So, sorry, now I'm throwing something new at you. So basically, mod is basically when you divide a number with another number, it checks what is the remainder. So if you have if you divide something by the number and you're left with a whole number, no decimals pretty much, then there is no remainder. So for instance, like 4 divided by 2 is equal to 2 and there's no decimal, whereas 5 divided by 2 is 2.5. Like there's that remainder of 1. Does that make sense? I don't know if it does. But that's basically what it does. It checks, is it divisible by 2 without a remainder. So that's how you can check something is even or whether it's divisible by something. Like if a number is divisible by 3 or 4 or 5, you just say mod 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever you're wanting it to be, and it will check, is there a remainder when it divides by it. Hopefully that kind of makes sense. So what we want to do then is show all the numbers. We can maybe go a bit higher if we want. Do we want to go up to let's go from 1 to 20, and we'll say less than or equal to 20. Let's do it like that. And we're going to check which of them are divisible by 2, and so it will only display those that are divisible by 2. So we could put an else here and say something else over here if we wanted to. Okay, so we can do that. Oops, forgot my plus. Okay. Yeah. So you can choose what number you start from and what number you go to. You can choose whether you want it less than or less than and equal to. I keep using my touchpad instead of my mouse. It's just habit, because I don't really use a mouse in everyday life. But obviously the mouse makes better sounds, so I'll try and do the mouse. So I said you can, initially I said 0 to 9. That was because in programming you usually start at 0, but we're not going to touch on arrays, so that doesn't actually come into it. But yeah, okay, so let's see how this runs then. Let's see what happens. So it will say 1 is not divisible by 2, 2 is, 3 is not, 4 is, as you would expect. So all the odd numbers say not divisible, and all the even numbers say divisible. So that worked how we wanted it to. So, except that I can't spell divisible. Yeah, so that I think is all that we're gonna do in this video. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you liked the typing and that you maybe found it interesting, learned something. Yeah, I had fun doing it, and yeah, I don't know if we'd be able to do like a sequel to it or something, because I think that would be like verging on more complicated concepts, which is, yeah, I don't know, it's a bit tricky, especially because like I don't really know. No, why am I still getting this? What is it again? Control K and Control C. Why? No. I don't know why it's not working. That doesn't make sense. Okay. Wasting time. Yeah, so I don't know if I could do another one. But if you wanted me to, I could try and see if I could make things pretty simple from here on out. But yeah, like I said, it's kind of it's kind of difficult because I've never taught programming before, so I don't even know how well this went. But anyway, yeah, so that's the last little message. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for watching, and sweet dreams.